Alright, listen up. Wizard 101 is a children's card game that was released on September 2nd, 2008. That's when I was about 5 years old, and just like every other kid, I begged my mom to use her superpower credit card to buy me the membership so I could play the game. And then shortly after the release, in 2010, the player peak count estimated over 1 million concurrent players. And then after its peak of 1 million players, it had a steady decline, and in 2014 and 2015 and pretty much beyond that, the game has been pretty much kind of dead. Don't get me wrong, through that time there was still a steady player base of absolute whiz-head degenerates, but for the most part the game wasn't seeing very many new players, and there wasn't too much going on with the game. And as I was going through my teens and everything, I hopped on and off the game because I myself am a whiz-head, and honestly, for some reason, I always found enjoyment of coming back to the game and playing it for a little while. But in recent years, KingsIsle has made a huge move, and they've released Wizard 101 on console and now even Nintendo Switch. This has definitely increased the player count in recent years and brought new players to the game, and probably also brought old players back to the game. But the real question is this enough to actually bring the game out of its dying stages and bring new life back to the game? Well, no one will know for sure, but let's dive into it and see what we can uncover for ourselves. And just one last thing, this video is sponsored by the subscribe button because I have no people that want to sponsor me. Anyways, enjoy. So to make this video, of course, I had to whip out my credit card and purchase the membership so I could get the full experience of what Wizard 101 is like in 2026. And right when I load in, of course, I get that nostalgia of hearing that Wizard 101 intro and then the waiting screen of all my wizards sitting here looking at me. And just to prove that I have spent a decent amount of time in this game and know what's up, I have a level 10 fire wizard that I used to do level 10 PvP on, but that's pretty much dead, I'm pretty sure, at this point. I've got a level 50 balance wizard that I used to do PvP on, but that's pretty much dead. And then I have a storm wizard that's pretty dripped out, and I used to do level 65 PvP on, but then I just started to level him up. I have a level 62 death wizard that I'm kind of right now actually playing the game on. And then I've got my level 150 that used to be max level when I last played the game, myth wizard, which I have done and put so much time into this wizard. But now the level cap is 180 and a bunch of new things have been added into the game. So I have been playing the game a little bit, and I've noticed that there are quite a few players that still play this game, and also that aren't like complete whiz heads and know the game. Like, they're still fresh to the game. And if you don't know what I mean by whiz head, let me just do a quick explanation. There's about 1 million different things you can do in this game that all require an endless amount of grinding and an endless amount of knowledge to actually play the game the best you can play it. And I feel that this is one of the pros that lead to this game still being alive today. Some of the things that you can just endlessly waste your time on is pet training, gardening, crafting, fishing, spell weaving, spellements, getting energy gear, getting gear that you can stitch, getting the best meta gear for PvP, and the list just goes on and on. And I myself have dabbled in a lot of these things, and, well, you could just get lost in the amount of things that you can do. So now after playing the game a little bit at 22 years old, I have noticed that there is another thing going for the game. And that is that it doesn't take a whole lot of concentration to play the game. What I mean by this, and actually what I like about this game, is that I can be watching Netflix or watching YouTube and also playing this game because I don't need my full attention on this game to play it. And that is something that is unique about games that are like Wizard 101, is that you can just kind of chill and play the game and you don't actually have to be 100% locked in, unless of course you're doing PvP, which it takes so much time to get all of the necessary equipment and all the spell weaving and all of the meta just stuff you need to PvP is absolutely insane. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole, you most certainly can, and you'll have a lot to do for a long time. And something I do just want to check here is I'm on right now at 12 p.m. on a weekday, and I mean, the realms aren't crowded by any means. I mean it is good to see that Ambrose is almost always crowded, so no matter what, at least there's some players playing the game at all points in the day. But on the weekends, I have noticed that usually Ambrose, Baelstrom, Banshee, like some of the top 3 or top 4 realms are crowded, which is good to see in the game. And this is only for PC. And if we take in consideration the console players and the Nintendo players, there is even more players on the game at one given time. And well, when you put all of these platforms combined, Wizard 101 tends to get 5,000 to 10,000 players concurrently playing the game at all times, which for a game that is 20 years old almost is pretty good. And considering that a game usually starts to die when it only hits about 1 to 5,000 concurrent viewers, the game is technically doing all right. So from that point of view, then I guess it is safe to say that Wizard 1 is in fact not dying, and actually this number has gone up from recent years of concurrent players, and some would say that possibly this game is growing. And like I said, I know why people continue playing this game. For me, I like to play it just because of the fact that I don't have to think too much on it, and I can play it while watching a movie, or I can play it while just doing other stuff, which, now that I'm saying that out loud, makes my attention span seem really short. But regardless, some of the things that I feel like draw players away is the extent of grinding that needs to happen in this game. Like what I'm showing you here is a gardening farm, and this takes quite a bit to set up, and I have accumulated all of the gardening seeds, which drops mega pet snacks, which lets you train pets that give you these stats, because you need to have pets in this game. And I could see where all of that could be unattractive to a new player, but I could also see where that could be a good thing for a new player, seeing that there's endless amounts of things to do in this game. And I myself have not dived into everything this game has to offer. I did do max level PvP at 150 when the level cap was 150. I've done level 65 PvP when it used to actually be a thing. And that is one of the things I hate, is that they've switched up PvP. PvP used to be, in my opinion, way better than it is now. They've incorporated a lot of good things to PvP, but they've taken some things out, and if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're just watching this video and you're not a whiz head, then you don't know. But now there's even more things that you can do between spell weaving and spellaments, and the game is just getting so big that from a person who wants to dive in and take that challenge, it looks good, but it also can look bad to a new player. So that is just kind of a yin-yang thing that I've seen in the game. And another pro and con to the game, like I said, the game is very simple to play. It doesn't take a whole lot of thinking unless you're facing a boss that has a lot of cheats. But even then, once you memorize the cheats and look on the wiki of Wizard 101, you can understand the boss and play around it. But the questing in the game is, I mean, it's safe to say that it can be very boring. Most of the quests consist of you going out, defeating monsters, coming back, getting XP, and then continuing on doing the exact same thing through, I don't even remember how many worlds there are now in Wizard 101. But I can see where that could draw people away from the game, that you're just constantly doing the same thing over and over and over again until you reach 180. And, I mean, to think about it, yes, that is what you do in a lot of games, not just Wizard 101, but there is something about Wizard 101 that is very repetitive. It's like, once you get to a certain point of the game, you blade, and then you hit into your 7-pip AoE, and that's the game for a very long time. But then, for some reason, it's also very enjoyable to do that, and then it's like a dopamine hit when you hit the next level and get the next best gear, and then you get to the max level. It's just like the push and pull of the game that makes it boring, but also makes it interesting at the same time. And for some people, it's just not the game for them, and then for others, it's like the perfect game. And then another pro and con to the game is just the vast length of the game. There is a YouTuber named Zerit who does Wizard 101 challenges and a couple other videos, but he recently speedrun the entire game of Wizard 101 and wanted to see if he could get to the max level of 170 or 180 at the time in a week. And he played practically 24/7 that entire week, only taking time off to sleep and eat and piss. And it took him a full week, and I believe one of the days he even had to play for 24 hours straight. But of course, the length of the game is not necessarily a negative. It also means that there's just that much of the game that you get to play, and to the right person, that is a good thing, and to the other person, it is a bad thing. So I think what I'm starting to figure out is that Wizard 101 is just a very niche game. It has pros and cons, and some people like the pros and some people like the cons. Like, each aspect of the game is just either you like it or you don't like it. And it's the people that like it that choose to stay, and the people that don't like it that don't continue to play the game. I feel like unlike a lot of games, Wizard 101 isn't for everyone. Like, there isn't something in the game for everyone. Everyone ends up doing the same thing of questing and leveling up, where in other games that are popular and retain a higher player base, there's just a lot of different things for different players, where Wizard 101, I mean, you have the PvE, and then you've got the PvP, and then that's kind of it. There's nothing much else to it. You can go down the path of gardening, but even then, like, why would you play the game if you're just gonna garden? I mean, it's not that sort of game. You either pretty much have to either PvE or PvP. But at least the game continuously gets updates, unlike its sister game, Pirate 101, and players do seem to still care about the game, and new players still seem to come to the game. Pretty much to sum it all up is, there is an endless amount of things to do in this game if you really want to dive into the full extent of the game. There are a lot of pros and a lot of cons to the game, but overall, if you like the pros, you're gonna pretty much enjoy the game. Like myself, I just like to play it when I'm doing other things and don't want to fully focus on a game, and honestly, it's pretty enjoyable. There's still one big thing that I'm leaving out, and that is that this game is a membership game. You can't just buy the game and have it. So if you made it this far into the video, let me know if you really think that this game should be membership anymore, or if you could just, or if you should just be able to buy the game, and if you think that that would help the game continue to grow or not. But pretty much in conclusion, it is not at its peak performance like it once was when it first released. But the game is at a pretty good state nonetheless. There will always be whizheads like myself and bigger whizheads like other people, and I don't think the game will be going away anytime soon, as long as they keep updating it and keeping it interesting for people to play. I mean, one of the great things about the game is, if you complete one character, guess what? There's still 6 other schools that you can play and get max characters on. So it is a pretty good investment into the game. If you really love the game, you can just go max all of the schools and have a lot of playtime in the game. So we'll see if Wizard 101 continues to grow, if it just kind of stays at this 5,000 to 10,000 concurrent player mark. But as someone who has played the game since it was first released, I love to come back to the game and play it for a little while, and I'm sure I'll get sick of it eventually, and I'll get back off, and maybe I'll come back to it in another 2 or 3 years and start playing it again. I am excited to see if it continues to grow, but I don't have the highest expectations because the game is so old, and it just isn't necessarily the game style that people play these days or look for in games, and pretty much it just is a niche game, and the people that like it play it, and the people that don't like it play other games. So that'll be the extent of this talk. Let me know what you think of Wizard 101. Let me know what you think it'll go to or what it'll become. And let me know if you're a full-on whizhead like myself who has put in the time to get everything that this game kind of has to offer. And if you made it to the end of this video, you are an absolute superstar. I love you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is not the type of videos that I usually do, but I just love this game so much that I just wanted to come in and make a video on it to kind of just talk about the game and where it is at. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and, well, subscribe and see what my next video is going to be on. Maybe I'll make some Wizard 101 content. Just kidding, probably not. I'll just play it on my free time and continue the content that I have been doing. So, I hope you have a great day, and whatever troubles are troubling you, I hope they wash away. And maybe just play some Wizard 101, and maybe just play some Wizard 101 to forget about your problems.